So between the 4th and the 8th of July 2016, I get a chance to amble around Glasgow's Exhibition and Conference Centre, commentating on what I see and hear at IFOMT 2016. Now, if you can find me a better job in the world for that week, I won't believe you. So I challenge you to that, and if you can't, then I'll still keep the gig. IFOMT 2016 finally comes to town, and the slogan, Expanding Horizons, comes to life. I was honoured to be involved in the marketing and promotion for the event from 2014 when Chris Mercer and the organising committee collaborated on a series of keynote speaker podcasts in the Physio Matters style. Over the last 18 months I've caught up on Skype with the IFOMT 2016 speakers, and we've broadcast tasters of what is to come on ifomtconference.org. This unique opportunity has made me increasingly giddy for the conference, if for nothing else but just to see if the keynote speakers will still talk to me despite my constant urge to record interesting people's opinions as they come out. There'll no doubt be hundreds of top clinicians and researchers to meet and chat to over the week, but allow me to tell you about my partners in crime. I envisage and hope for an intellectual threesome with Mr. Stephen A. Waugh and Mr. Roberto Di Matteo, often wrongly named Stephen Nawar and Rob Tyre. These two MACP certified social butterflies will no doubt help me to Trojan horse myself into secret parties and chanting sessions once I persuade them to teach me the secret handshake. And yes, I'll take my dictaphone, but no, I don't mean I'll keep Jack March on speed dial. I might also attend some lectures, and so here's a rundown of what I've earmarked through the event and why. On Monday at 11 a.m, I'll kick off with keynote speaker Lorimer Moseley, who'll be lecturing on the topic Expanding Our Understanding of Pain Physiology into Patient Care. I'm going to be rather tragic and sort of quote myself to explain why I encourage all MSK clinicians to attend this. And it's part of a mantra that I've often been trying to push forward, which is that I don't have a special interest in pain, I have a special interest in people. But at the moment, the vast majority of people who seek my help are in pain. Now, that general message that I try to push is just the idea that if you are working in MSK, it's better to understand pain if the patients that see you are coming in with pain. I don't get many people coming in pain-free who simply have underlying stiffness or the sensations that are not unpleasant. So certainly well worth thinking about. My most commonly banged drum is learn the mechanisms and the rest is clear thinking. I'll probably repeat this again later, so don't worry if you don't have a clue what I mean yet. At 2 p.m. on Monday, I'll be at the Focus Symposium titled Management of Chronic Knee Osteoarthritis. Where are we going wrong? I'm keen to attend this partly because Focus Symposium sounds fancy and I like to pretend I'm a social climber, but also I see it as an imperative that we spend appropriate amounts of time as clinicians trying to mastermind the biggest health burdens of our time. Now, lower limb OA is one of these, so I've looked forward to diving into this discussion session. On Tuesday, I'll be continuing the first day's theme by spending time listening to two free-thinking and inspirational speakers who always bring contemporary reasoning to the clinical front line with eloquence and class. At 9 a.m, I'll be attending Moving Beyond Exercise for Managing Patellofemoral Pain, Expanding the Need for Tailored Management, that's with Michael Rathleff. And at 2:30, Expanding Our Ability to Manage Shoulder Pain and Pathology with Jeremy Lewis. Now, in my IFOMT keynote podcast with Jeremy, he proposed the supergroup Roger Kerry and the Manual Therapists. So I'm excited to see if he does as he promised and brings his spoons to play along at Wednesday's gig. I know I haven't got to Wednesday night yet, but I just get excited. As I'm going through the weeks, despite best efforts, I've not quite been able to shorten this podcast come blog enough to fit into Craig David's 7 days, so I'll continue in long form, but watch this space. Although it might work, you never know. Loaded up tissues on Tuesday. No, it doesn't work, does it? Okay, work in progress. Wednesday is another keynote day. Anina Schmid was absolutely brilliant on and off the microphone when I interviewed her back in 2014, and unless her passion has somewhat waned since, then her lecture will no doubt be mega. Entrapment neuropathies are often so tricky to treat. Sorry, better correct that for the podcast lingo, please. Patients with limb pain thought to be associated with a current or previous compression of a nerve structure are often tricky to treat. Nina's work and the influence of aerobic exercise on neuropathic pain are of particular interest, so I'll certainly have my eyes and ears peeled for her and her team, who will no doubt have some posters to pursue and peruse as well. Roger Kerry's on at 11 a.m. with expanding our assessment of manual therapy to include the vascular system. I'm increasingly conscious of how much I'm behaving like a Roger Kerry / Cause Health fanboy, so I'll be skipping that session, but my right-hand man Stephen A. Waugh is likely to insist on attending as per his opening iFomped blog, so I'll give it a whirl. For those that don't follow Stephen, check out #VascularThief on Twitter for specialist vascular physio reflections. It's quite the niche. And then it's party time. D.H. Lawrence and the Vaudeville Skiffle Show will be rocking the washboards and banjos over a few ales, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm yet to be asked to open the show with a stand-up performance, but I'll keep working on my script. Don't worry, that's obviously not actually a thing, so panic not. I intend for Thursday to be a slow start for various reasons, but by 12:30 I'll be alert for Fascial Symposium, which starts an afternoon in which I really hope to expand my horizons as the conference promises. I have no idea what a fascial symposium will entail, but I'll keep my mind open and my mouth shut for as long as possible. A panel debate about manual therapy for low back pain follows this, in which I think I've got a fairly middle ground position on it, so I'll be interested to see which way I'm swayed. Quite excited for that. Finally, Nadine Foster's keynote is entitled Expanding Our Ability to Match Patients to the Right Treatment. Me and Nadine discussed stratified low back pain care a year or so ago for an iFomp keynote podcast, which I'm sure we can link to the blog transcript of this. I've been fairly outspoken against stratified care as a general principle across social media and occasionally on the Physio Matters podcast. So I'm looking forward to a few questions being answered, and I suspect my concerns alleviated a little by Nadine, who has done some of the leading work in this area. And once again, for the final day, we are spoilt for choice. Unless my whole worldview's been shifted over the course of the week, which it could well have been, I'll be attending Joel Bialowski's 9 a.m. keynote on the mechanisms of manual therapy and Roger Kerry's 3 p.m. finale, which is expanding our perspective on research in medicine. To me, the most liberating part of my learning journey in musculoskeletal practice is getting to grips with concepts, mechanisms, and underlying principles. Whether it was understanding pain, studying what effects we can have on other human beings through touch, language, exercise, and even the process of understanding research and evidence, getting at least some grip of these things formed a foundational opinion that's made a huge difference to my story so far. So no doubt these final lectures, and of course the conference as a whole, will undoubtedly steer the next part of my journey, and I look forward to seeing you there.